I saw a headline the other day in The Athletic, and this was it. The most anonymous monster season ever? A headline that did not need that question mark at the end of it. This is the most anonymous monster season ever. But I fear that bringing this up will just prompt you to turn me right off. My point immediately becomes your yawning counterpoint. So now please allow me just a minute to convince you that you are missing revolutionary basketball history, a dynastic monster created right before your very eyes that are closed. The Oklahoma City Thunder are about to cap off what very well could be the greatest season in NBA history. And nobody seems to care outside of Oklahoma City. The Thunder are revolutionizing the way basketball games are won at the very highest level, and nobody seems to notice nationally. You should be witnessing the launch of a dynasty. This is the youngest finals team since Bill Walton's Trailblazers in 1977, and Oklahoma City has Oklahoma oil fields full of future first-round draft picks. They have 13 first-rounders in the next 7 drafts. Yet America seems to be shrugging and saying, wake us up when this is over. I don't know. Maybe if the Thunder sweep the Pacers with 4 blowouts, then America will notice. And I believe that is the Thunder's private goal, to prove their all-time greatness, to shut up the doubters and the haters with 4 straight dominating wins over the Pacers, who, by the way, are now becoming America's darlings, the NBA's version of Hoosiers, the biggest finals underdogs in 20 years, potentially the biggest preseason underdog at 50-1 to win a finals in 50 years, led by the charismatically lovable Tyrese Halliburton, who now has more telegenic star power than the entire Oklahoma City team combined. I've already said Thunder in 5. That's the favored outcome by the odds makers, believe it or not. But I will not at all be surprised if the Thunder sweep convincingly and resoundingly. A sweep, believe it or not, is the second favored choice of the odds makers. That's how one-sided this thing is. I thought, silly me, I thought America loved awe-inspiring. I thought fans are magnetized by seeing something in sports they've never seen before, addicted to the astonishing. The Thunder are the most astonishing basketball team I've seen since Michael Jordan's 1998 Bulls, a team I covered as a columnist for the Chicago Tribune, the Last Dance Bulls of Netflix fame. Would somebody out there please wake up and see what you're missing? Somebody, please. Okay, I do take some responsibility for this. I do bear some guilt for this national narrative or lack thereof. I have been driving the Thunder bandwagon all season long since I picked them to win the loaded Western Conference before the season began. I'm sure this drove some people nuts, helped drive the Thunder bandwagon right over the cliff because some skip haters out there condemned me as a bandwagon jumper. Okay, so maybe I have driven away lots of potential Thunder fans with my relentless horn honking for this team. Honk, honk, honk. Nobody's listening. Honk, honk. Nobody's listening. Honk, honk. Nobody's listening. But for the record, again, if you don't know this, I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. I was there until I was 18 when I won a scholarship and went away to Vanderbilt University. I've made it painfully clear why I could not ever get my arm around the 2012 Thunder, who went to the finals against LeBron and Dwayne Wade and company. KD and Russ and James Harden were just so unlikable. KD was such a thin-skinned diva. Russ was such an egomaniacal solo act. Harden was just so untrustworthy in the biggest games. I just couldn't get my arm around them. And by the way, just to remind you, if you don't know, starting back in 1999, I became a Spurs fan way before I imagined my hometown ever having an NBA team. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I was a Duncan Ginobili Parker fan, never much of a Pop fan. But once the big three were gone in San Antonio, I couldn't help it. I drifted away from the Spurs because my heart is in my hometown. And 2 years ago, not this year, but 2 years ago, as I told you, I fell in love with these Thunder. This all for one and one for all team, T-E-A-M team that loves dominating and annihilating together more than any team I have ever closely observed, especially an NBA team. They're led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the best leader now in all of sports. Ain't even close. This team has insisted from the start in doing post-game on-floor interviews together as a TEAM team. And I'm pretty sure it's completely authentic. I have never seen a more united and unified NBA team, a more lovable NBA team. The Oklahoma City University Thunder. I have called them repeatedly on this show. This is March Madness in April, May, and June. Yet nobody outside Oklahoma City loves the Thunder except me. I don't think anybody hates the Thunder. They just don't care about the Thunder. And they definitely don't love the Thunder. The Western Conference Finals ratings, they're pretty awful. Even though those Western Conference Finals featured the new face of the league, who's in every other TV commercial that I see, Minnesota's Ant-Man, who, as I kept pointing out last year and predicted this year, turned right on schedule into Can't-Man. So I guess when people figured out, well, I was right about Anthony Edwards, they stayed away from their TVs and their phones in droves because they did not care about the Thunder. I don't know, maybe the Thunder just bore them to death. Even though, believe it or not, the Thunder broke the all-time record held for more than half a century by the 1971-72 Los Angeles Lakers for point differential. The Thunder outscored opponents by 12.9 points per game, eclipsing the 71-72 Lakers, 12.3 points per game. That's dramatic. That's drastic. They obliterated the all-time about 50-year-old record, did the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder won the stacked Western Conference by 16 games. That's a record for winning either conference ever. They annihilated that record. And just as astonishing, the Thunder set another record. They went 29-1 against the East. No team in one conference has ever gone better than that against the opposing conference. All-time record. They lost one game at Cleveland by 7 on January the 8th without Chet Holmgren, their extraordinary rim protector, and without Alex Caruso, their most disruptive defender. Yet they turned right around 8 days later, still without Chet or Caruso, and got even with Cleveland in Oklahoma City, 134-114 by 20. That's what they do. I can make a case just off the numbers. This was the most dominating season in NBA history. But nobody cares. And here was the PR problem. The age-old cliche, defense wins championships, certainly applies to the Thunder. But dominating defense does not drive TV ratings and national popularity, unless maybe you're the 1985 Chicago Bears playing that other game, football. The Thunder's best offense is the most devastating defense I have ever seen an NBA team play. Even more psychologically and physically devastating than the 1998 Bulls I covered. Those Bulls could station Jordan and Pippen and Ron Harper at half court and just make it very difficult for your guards to even get the ball past half court. They had 6'7" Dennis Rodman manning the back line of that defense, but those Bulls didn't have a Holmgren, didn't have a Hartenstein protecting their rim. Those Bulls didn't have nearly the depth of these Thunder who attack you in waves of demonic defenders. Defenders who led the league in regular season steals and now lead the playoffs in opponents' turnovers. Here's a quick note for you. In the playoffs, they're forcing 18 turnovers a game, and they've converted them into 24 points a game. That's up from what they did in the regular season, which was 17 turnovers forced a game and 22 points off turnovers. Think about that. They're increasing their regular season dominance in the postseason. It's almost as if these Thunder have hijacked these playoffs by playing a revolutionary way no one can quite figure out or comprehend. They smoke you with pot, with points off turnovers. Smoke you with pot. They are extremely difficult to dribble against or pass against because they are going to get their hands on your basketball. They're going to slap it free. They're going to deflect it. They're going to tip it. They're going to dislodge it. With every single second, attack mode defense, just swarm you with defense. All in defense. And once they get their hands on loose basketballs, Lord have mercy, are they fun to watch. You think the Pacers play fast? The Thunder hit you with thunderbolts off forced turnovers. They push it. They beat you back down the floor. They attack your rim. They smoke you with pot, points off turnovers. The 2025 Thunder are the most exciting team in all of basketball that nobody watches. I just don't get it. Why do you think that in 4 games against the Thunder over the past 2 years, the great Tyrese Halliburton has averaged 12 points a game in 4 games? He's 6 feet 5 inches tall. He's averaged 12 points a game in 4 games because of this 4-headed monster. 6'5" Caruso, 6'3" Cason Wallace, 6'4" Lou Dort, who was first team all defense, and 6'5" Jalen Williams, second team all defense. Can you imagine what's about to happen to the Pacers as they go from getting any shot they wanted against those defenseless Knicks, those no defense playing Knicks? When they go from that to getting hit between the eyes with OKC Thunderbolts, think about this. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton had Jalen Brunson guarding him, who cares very little about playing any defense at all. I think Jalen Brunson's like 5 feet 11 inches tall to 6'5" Halliburton. Think about what's going to happen when Lou Dort D's up on Halliburton, as he has in the past, and the stats scream that Halliburton has no chance against Lou Dort. Just shuts him down. But I guess kids aren't buying number 5 Lou Dort jerseys because, man, it's hard to become a fan of the NBA's best perimeter defender. What kid wants to emulate Lou Dort by getting down in a defensive stance in the living room at home? Nobody does. Nobody cares. Okay. Then what about the best player in all of basketball, the MVP, SGA? What's wrong with him? Oh, he's from Canada? Well, Luka's from Slovenia and Joker's from Serbia. I mean, at least Canada's just next door, right? But SGA is cool to a fault. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. He remains calm and extremely cool. Off the court, he just might be the NBA's most fashionable dresser, but he doesn't flaunt it. He's not showy Westbrookian with it. And on the court, he doesn't flash explosive Jordan Kobe athleticism that amazes the easily amazed out there among fandom. He doesn't dunk like Ant-Man can power slam. Nor does he shoot threes like lovably baby-faced Steph always shoots logo threes. Yet, SGA attacks the rim more and more effectively than any player in basketball. That statistically attacks the rim more than any player in basketball. No two defenders can keep SGA from getting to the rim, even though he often finesse finishes up off the glass. And while SGA is a very good three-point shooter, he doesn't fall into the three-point shooting trap that Luka and Cantman always do. I mean, threes sell. See Golden State, see Boston to a certain extent, but threes don't always win unless you're Steph Curry or those crazy shooting Celtics. You can, as you know, live and die by the three. SGA lives on automatic twos, and nobody cares. Nobody can keep SGA from getting to his spot. Elbows, free throw line elbows extended. Nobody can keep him getting to his spot for those smooth as butter two-point jumpers that he makes as if they're layups. I've never seen anything like it before. It's just sweet, easy, just like layup shooting. It's free throw shooting, two-point jumpers. But two-point jumpers he makes look so easy do not sell jerseys or products. SGA's in one national TV commercial for AT&T alongside two of his teammates, Chet and J-Dub. He has to share the stage with two teammates, which is fitting. All for one, one for all. They even advertise as a team. And by the way, the only controversy surrounding SGA through these playoffs, even though he's been by far the best and clutchest player, he's been the free throw merchant, said Minnesota Timberwolves fans. Okay, so I'm looking at the stats now on free throw shooting. Through the playoffs, SGA's averaged 9.2 free throws a game. It's pretty high, but in the 5 games that Giannis played, he was at 12.6 a game. Donovan Mitchell played 9 games, lasted 9 games, and he was at 9.9 a game. So that was, again, 0.7 of a point higher than, or an attempt higher than SGA at 9.2. Luka shot 9.2 a game. They got swept, obviously, by the Timberwolves. But this whole idea that SGA is getting every call like James Harden used to get every call, that he's a free throw merchant, is just absurd. He's really good, and he's earning the free throw attempts he gets, which aren't ridiculously high. So stop it with that. But that's all he's got. That's the only attention he's gotten. So Converse dropped a commercial the night SGA and company closed out Cantman and the T-Wolves. It was a signature sneaker print on an anthill, in the dirt on the anthill, as one lone ant looked desperately lost. I thought it was an inspired troll, but it was fittingly and powerfully subtle. Too subtle. That's SGA. That's the Thunder. Draymond Green, now a far more impactful podcaster than he is a player, set the national narrative about halfway through the regular season when he said on his podcast, "Nobody fears the Oklahoma City Thunder." So I guess America just tuned out. How can fans be awed by a bunch of nobodies from nowhere that no NBA star fears? Where's Draymond hiding now? I haven't heard from him lately. But now I'm sure most NBA fans are saying, well, if Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, if Ja hadn't gotten hurt, if Steph hadn't gotten hurt, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum hadn't gotten hurt, blah, blah, blah. So now I'm already hearing about the Indiana Pacers, the comeback kings, the miracle workers. So they've had 3 great escapes through these playoffs. They were down 7 with 40 seconds in Game 5, first round versus the Bucks, and won. They were down 7 with 50 seconds left in Game 2 against the Cavs, and they came back and won. They were down 14 with 2:51 left. Game 1, as you remember, against the Knicks, and they came back and won in overtime. And I ask you seriously, do you really think they're going to come back this way against this defense, the greatest defense I've ever seen in the history of professional basketball that I know? Seriously, I ask you, do you think against that 4-headed monster they're going to be able to come back like this? Do you think against the 2-headed monster guarding the rim they're going to come back like this? Wake up and look at the numbers, people. The record-shattering numbers, people. This team had 54 double-digit wins. That's more than Houston had wins. And Houston finished second in the West to the Thunder. Think about that. Please watch these Thunder do to the Pacers what they've done to everybody else. Please watch the greatest defensive team ever deliver thunder and lightning. Please watch the dawn of a dynasty. If you're a real sports fan, you will watch. You will tell your friends the next morning, I just saw something I've never seen before. You will be awed. You will be wildly entertained. Trust me. I know.